How's it guys, this is Dayvy FPL and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Recorded in the morning. Yet again we're having to record this video nice and early just because of how quickly these game week deadlines are coming about. But in this video we're going to be looking at the game week 37 plus team selection as well as how the squad got on in game week 36. There is still one fixture happening tonight. It is that West Ham versus Watford kind of relegation scrap game. So that game still has to occur. So just keep that in mind when looking at the overall rank as well as overall points. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So the deadline with Davy's stream, the deadline this week is actually quite late on Saturday, evening, afternoon or morning, wherever you are in the world. So I'm going to have to just see what I'm doing around that time. If I am busy, I probably won't be doing a deadline with Davy's stream. What I might do is maybe do a stream a little bit earlier on, and then you guys can just watch it on replay. Or I would just post the team over on my Twitter at DayvyFPL, the confirmed deadline team, a little bit closer to the deadline. Unfortunately, with that FA Cup game happening on Saturday night, it would have been quite profitable if that game actually happened before. Man City take on Arsenal, and we know that Pep roulette. So, I mean, at least a lineup before the deadline would have been a good indication of what squad will be starting against Watford in game week 37. But as you know, there are FA Cup games. We have Man United taking on Chelsea, I think on Sunday as well. So just keep your eyes on that one. It's going to be very hard to predict lineups this week because, I mean, imagine if an injury was to happen in one of those FA Cup games. You wouldn't even know about it, which is quite unfortunate. So this week, I think the most important thing is just to be safe. I wouldn't be taking too many hits on players that you don't even know are going to start, and also just be quite safe with your captaincy. But it also is a good week to go very differential, as I think because of this whole FA Cup scenario, a lot of managers will be safe. So if you are unsafe and more risky, you could be going up those ranks quite a lot. But let's get on and see how the squad got on in game week 36. So game week 36, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I was absolutely gutted at the end of it. Well, not end of it, there is still one game week to go. But after that Liverpool game, I was quite sad and triggered, mainly because this week had such good potential. We came out that City game feeling relatively good. Players like Foden and Sterling blanked. We also had Gabriel Jesus returning. He was our transfer in. He was also a captaincy consideration. I was really close between him and Salah. Went for Salah in the end, but Gabriel Jesus was still a good option, and he did return. He did return more than Vardy as well, so that transfer looks quite good. But the other players like Mahrez didn't start, which is quite disappointing, and then obviously Kevin De Bruyne as well. But those players were a little bit expected to, but a lot of people went for that Sterling or Foden captain. So after that Man City game, when those captains blanked, I was feeling really good about that Salah captain. He was only captained by about 9% of that top 10k. I just think of that potential if Salah went and scored. They were playing against an Arsenal side which they should be beating. I think if you asked any Arsenal fan, that's not discrediting them as a team, but if you had to make a bet on Arsenal versus Liverpool, I'm pretty sure money would go to that Liverpool side of things, especially with the rotation that Arsenal had done with that squad, with the FA Cup in mind for the upcoming game week. So you know what happened? Liverpool ended up losing that game with Salah missing a lot of big chances. The one that kind of springs to mind is that Trent Alexander-Arnold cross. Salah did some skill, but then he ends up shooting it straight at the keeper. I was very annoyed after that one because there would have been a Trent Alexander-Arnold assist and then a Salah captain goal, a massive point swing. But that seems to be the pattern of Salah. He gets the ball, shoots it straight at the keeper, and he manages to get about 4 big chances every game, and he's not scoring them, which is highly disappointing. It also is a little bit disappointing because obviously he's not punishing those owners that sold him. So if you did sell him, I guess all credit to you, and hopefully the player you brought in did a lot better than him this week. So as I said, was absolutely gutted about game week 36, and let's get on and see where those points came from. So obviously 39 points. Saiss will be coming off the bench for De Bruyne, and that'll make it 41. It's above the average currently of about 36, but I'm pretty sure everyone has De Bruyne, so everyone will be getting some auto subs. So it's going to be interesting to see who those players are. I've seen some lucky FPL managers manage to get the likes of Raul Jimenez with his lovely 9 points off the bench, which is going to be quite nice. Starting off in goal, we have Martinez. Obviously that Arsenal versus Liverpool game, we know how it went. I'm happy with those 2 save points from Martinez though, but it was a little bit expected with those save points because I think Liverpool had about 20 shots versus Arsenal's 2. So at least Martinez made a couple saves there, and I definitely will take 2 save points against the Liverpool side. Martinez has been really good for us since that lockdown period, obviously coming in for the injured Bert Leno, and he's played really well since then. And the nice thing is Arsenal have some nice fixtures coming up, so he could equal some nice defensive FPL points. Going into the defense, we have Doherty, who actually started off on the bench. He came on, immediately had a return, managed to get an assist. So he looked like a good option, but just a little bit unlucky that he didn't start, as that would have equaled 6 points. You know, Wolves lost that clean sheet. We all know what happened. They conceded a very late penalty to Burnley. Unfortunate for those managers. I think some of you even have triple Wolves, so that must have been really heartbreaking. But at least Doherty would have got 6 points because of him playing 60 minutes, but he did start on the bench, so now it's only equal to 4. And we also have Saiss on the bench with 2, so it would have been nice if they did actually keep that clean sheet, as obviously De Bruyne didn't play, so Saiss is coming on. We have Trent Alexander-Arnold with 0 points, yellow carded and conceding those 2 goals, which takes him to 0. I thought overall the defense wasn't too bad from Liverpool, but it was those 2 massive mistakes from the unlikely characters of Van Dijk and Alisson. They don't usually make a lot of mistakes, so that kind of hurt Liverpool's defense a lot. Arsenal only had 2 shots, 2 on target equals 2 goals. So that reminds me a little bit of my FIFA weekend league, but Alexander-Arnold there obviously with 0 points, probably one of the worst things to happen. Then we have Serge Aurier, who is just a remarkable achievement that he actually went out and played. So he got 2 points, a little bit unlucky not to get that clean sheet. I was a little bit disappointed for him because I think he would have liked a clean sheet or an attacking return, but I think a lot of the Spurs celebrations were dedicated to him. But as I say, just a remarkable achievement for him actually just playing after that tragedy. So all credit to him, and I have no complaints. Going on to the midfielders, basically just the Man United boys that provided us some FPL points this week. We had Martial and Fernandes. Martial played really well, loves getting forward now in that out of position striker position, and he's looking really good, and even a captaincy decision has to be made on those Man United assets going into the next game week. And then Fernandes, who looks a little bit off form, but I mean his off form is still 6 points, which is better than everyone else's, so I think that Fernandes is still going to be playing well. I wish he was rested a little bit more this week, maybe taken off at that 60-minute mark, because I feel like he's looked a little bit tired recently, and I definitely do think he'll be starting in that FA Cup game, no question. So whether he starts next week against West Ham could be up for a little bit of debate, but I don't think Man United can afford to drop points at this moment, so I do think he'll be playing till the end of the season. Then we have Salah with 2 points. I told you about these big chances missed, and he missed a lot of them. He had about 2 big chances, I think that's this game week that I can remember, that he did end up fluffing. So was disappointed with him, but you know, it's FPL, we have to move on. Mahrez with 1 point, and then De Bruyne with 0. De Bruyne, probably the most confirmed resting out of the rumors, so not too disappointed with him. I mean, I just own him kind of because everyone owns him, so at least those points don't come back to bite me. In the forward department, we have Greenwood with 2 points. Was happy that he ended up starting because I don't have a good bench this week, and there was rumors that with the swollen ankle he could have missed out. So 2 points are nice. He was taken off at about that 60-minute mark, which was disappointing, but he did have a couple of chances that I feel that he could have got some FPL returns. And then Gabriel Jesus, the transfer in this week. I think Jamie Vardy only got an assist, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. So that transfer does look quite good, especially because it was a free transfer. But I was happy with Jesus starting. I just wasn't happy with not captaining him. As I said, it was a 50-50, and those of you who were in the deadline stream know that it was a 50-50 because I was kind of going back and forth with them. But Jesus, good option for the rest of the FPL season, especially with Aguero out. I just hope that he does start against Watford. On the bench, so he's coming on for De Bruyne, and then Connolly and Lascelles didn't play, with Lascelles looking to be out for the rest of the season. But let's get on and see what transfers I am considering. So the 2 transfers that I am considering, these are the 2 sections that kind of fulfill 2 sets. So the first set of transfers is going to be Jesus down to Danny Ings. Now with Jesus, there's a lot of rotation happening with that Man City squad recently. With the FA Cup game, we don't know what's going to be happening. So it might be worth just taking a risk, not really taking a risk, but nullifying the risk and going for a set player that should be starting. Now, Danny Ings has started all previous games, so it does look like there could be a rest on hand, but with the way he's playing in the form that Southampton's in, he does look to be a good option. And obviously, they have that Bournemouth fixture coming up with Nathan Ake out. So Danny Ings could be even a captaincy option if you want to go for a differential. So it might be worth this week going for a safe option of just downgrading Jesus to Ings and confirming a player that's at least going to play about 60 minutes. The other set of transfers that I could do is Greenwood to Danny Ings. With Greenwood, there is this worry of him getting his rest finally for Daniel James, so that could come next week against West Ham, but that's yet to be seen. And obviously I would need the money to upgrade Greenwood then, and that would see me downgrading Alexander-Arnold to Bardsley from Burnley. Now, why Burnley could be a good option this week is everyone kind of owns Nick Pope but me, so that could be a nice way to kind of nullify the points that Nick Pope gets. Burnley also have a nice fixture against Norwich, who had a really quiet game against Chelsea. I didn't think they offered any attacking threat, so that may be what they are looking for, maybe trying to scrape a 0-0 or something. But Alexander-Arnold does have Chelsea. Liverpool have been rested. So that could be a good game for Liverpool, but just with the form they're in currently, I can't see Liverpool doing anything against Chelsea. So that's kind of making me want to transfer them out. So these would be the two sets that I am looking at. If I don't go for one of these two sets, I could maybe do some bench fodder, transfers or something. It doesn't really make sense for me to bank a transfer if I'm free hitting next week. So that could be quite an interesting situation to be in if I do manage to bank a transfer. But I do think I would be at least making one transfer. If it's not these two, it will be kind of a bench transfer for a better player on my bench or something like that. But I will be confirming that on my Twitter at DayvyFPL. So this is how the squad is looking out for Game Week 37. Obviously, no transfers have happened. I did manage to kind of get the team symmetrical this week. So hopefully that equals some FPL points. I know last week it didn't. But starting off in goal, we have Martinez against Aston Villa. I'm really hoping that Arsenal can get some defensive returns in this one. Aston Villa have been playing a little bit better than they did at the start of lockdown period. Aston Villa are going to need to win this game because they are in a lot of trouble in that relegation zone, but hopefully Arsenal's defense is enough to hold them off. The rest of the defense, we have Doherty and Saiz, that double up of that Wolves defense against Crystal Palace. Now Crystal Palace did look quite good against Man United, but I think that's just because it was Man United and they're up for that game, whereas with Wolves I think it's going to be quite a close game, and hopefully Wolves end up getting that clean sheet. They've been losing it quite late recently, which is quite disappointing. Then we have Alexander-Arnold and Salah against Chelsea. Now basically Liverpool have a week's rest before this one, so I think that that's perfect for them as they need the rest. They need to take a break from football for a little bit as they're playing terribly, and I think maybe a week's rest is enough for them. And then obviously they are getting the trophy against Chelsea no matter what happens after the game, so I'm pretty sure they're going to be wanting to get a good result in that game. So I think I probably will be keeping Alexander-Arnold and Salah in this one just because of the fact that they are getting the trophy and they should be up for it. Then the two sets of teams I do own, Martial, Fernandes and Greenwood against West Ham. This looks like a really good option to go for West Ham. Probably going to have to be quite attacking to secure not getting relegated. However, if they do win tonight, they're probably going to be on the beach as well. So I think it's going to be a good result no matter what happens for Man United. And that's the reason why I've opted for the Martial captain. Opted for Martial over Fernandes, as I think he's a little bit more consistent recently and a little bit more explosive. So if he does manage to get a goal, he should be on for some double-digit returns. Whereas Fernandes has seen a little bit of slope in form recently, and I do think he will be taken off eventually because of how tired he's been looking. Then with Greenwood, just going to have to hope that he starts. If he does start or if he gets the last 30 minutes, he still can get some FPL points just because of how clinical he is. Then the other set we do have is Manchester City. We have Mahrez, De Bruyne and Jesus. Now this is just a straight lottery of whoever starts. Hopefully they get points. You kind of just have to get an entry into that game and just hope that they do well. So this is my triple up of them. But that, as I said, Jesus could become Danny Ings, and that could provide a nice, interesting differential captain if I do opt for him. On the bench, we have Aurier against Leicester, Connolly against Newcastle, and then Lascelles against Brighton, who won't play. Now with Aurier, it is Leicester. I just think that that's a better fixture than some of the other teams. So Leicester are better opposition, and I think that Spurs will be conceding with the way that they've been playing recently. So in terms of captaincy, I would probably go for a United player or a Manchester City player, but there are some differential options to go for. The likes of Burnley have a good fixture against Norwich, and then obviously Southampton against Bournemouth is also a good fixture. So if you want to go safe, probably go Man United. If you want to go explosive, Man City, and then if you want to go differential, one of Burnley or Southampton. So this is basically going to wrap up the video, guys. Please don't forget to like it if you did enjoy it, and subscribe if you're new, have not subscribed yet. I'll be checking you guys over my Twitter page at DayvyFPL. Otherwise, in the deadline stream, if we do have it, I will be confirming that over on the Twitter page as well. I'm going to be signing off. It's been DayvyFPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.